So, um, choices are really important to me. So, whatever decks I bring with me, which are usually these three, I always let someone who comes to me for a reading choose which deck resonates with you. So, Matricula, which deck resonates with you tonight?
I think the one that I'm the most familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I can't decide if I should go with one that I'm a little bit more familiar with, which is the Rider-Waite-Smith, or the Thoth deck, which I'm not as familiar with. So like I don't read tarot, but I'm an enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm not actually that familiar with the Rider-Waite deck, but I'm familiar with a deck that's based off of it.
Right.
In passing, so I can't decide if it would be more. I'm thinking it might be good for me to experience a deck that I'm not as familiar with.
So
to kind
I
of
always try to
backseat
backseat drive. When I always try to
You're
backseat drive a
you're the
reading.
one in charge.
Well, if I'm getting a reading,
Yeah.
a reading, I try to backseat drive it if I know the deck.
Mm-hmm.
This one percussive. This one is this one's the Mythic Tarot deck, Dom Dude.
Mm.
Do they just want this one because I said I didn't read with it very much?
Oh, I think they were just asking which one was which
okay.
in the decks. So I'm thinking, I think it might be good for me especially for. I'm saying we should do the top deck.
Well, percussive. When you want me to do a reading for you, I will use that one.
That's good. Yeah, I think I'm not super familiar with the Thoth deck, and I'm really curious about it, and I think that would be a fun one to read with this time.
All right. So we'll clear our space.
Okay, so now we've... Oh, percussive. I'll see you, Arian.
Okay. So what are we looking at tonight?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I'm looking for more, and one of the things, like, as someone, like, getting a reading, and you can give tips on this too, like, what to expect, it's like, instead of, like, I'm just trying to think, like, I'm not necessarily looking for, like, a solution to something, but I'm looking for advice and insight.
Mm-hmm.
When I, as someone who's not a terribly spiritual person, but approaching tarot as a tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's something that can work whether you see it as a spiritual thing or not. It's like looking for advice or insight into things that you might need to just say out loud for yourself. So I think one of the things that's been going on for me is I talk a lot about my my mental and physical health on the channel, and I am super prone to feeling super overwhelmed. And a lot of why I am having trouble with that is I have a lot of trouble saying no and setting boundaries.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people, and I love helping my friends and doing favors, and but I just keep saying, like, yes, I'll do that, and at a cost to myself. And one of the things I'm constantly really struggling with is not just how to say no and set those boundaries, but how to feel less guilty about it. So I'm trying to, so one of the things I'm trying to think about is, like, what are, breaking down in words, like, more of the reasons, like, why I feel this, like, anxiety around setting these boundaries, and, like, maybe advice to myself about, like, even though, like, you can't just say words and make it magically okay, it sometimes helps if you just say the words to yourself, like, no, I'm okay with this. I can do this. This is not a personal thing. So I think my kind of question would be, like, trying to strengthen my resolve to set boundaries.
Right. Ways to better take care of yourself around boundary setting?
Yeah, and like keying in on different, like it feels like things from all sides, because every situation is always different. Yeah. And yet they're all kind of the same.
Right.
So I'm trying to, and one of the things I'm not sure is, like, what are good ways to phrase that if I was going to a reader.
Right.
Like, saying, like, I have trouble setting boundaries. I'm looking for insight around this topic.
Well, frankly, that's a lot better and more specific than a lot of what I get.
Okay. What are some of the things that, just in vague terms?
What does my love life hold?
Okay.
Please imagine Sailor J saying that, because that's...
But I'm not too poor to contour.
Right.
If the men find out we can change our faces, they'll tell the church!
I love her. I love her so much.
She's so good.
Okay. But anyway.
I'll link the YouTube in while we...
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I get very vague things that are specifically about future predicting. Right? Yes, percussive. Exactly. Sailor J. And for me, it's one thing to kind of ask for, there's this situation, how's it gonna look? Or what do the upcoming months hold? It's another to be like, when am I gonna get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or...
So if someone's seeking a reading, things that are... there are different ways to ask questions.
Yeah, if you center yourself and your experience and your process, that tends to work better. I've also noticed that I consistently get better results if the question is needful, rather than just kind of out of curiosity.
Okay.
And so asking, when people come to me and say, I don't really know what to ask, what can I ask? I always tell them, if you're comfortable asking me about whatever's been most on your heart and mind, that's probably the best thing. So really, asking something about how can I better take care of myself around setting boundaries is a really great question.
Okay. Pro tips if you're seeking a tarot reading. Well, because you'll get more out of it if it's more, like
specific,
you're saying, more
and needful and personal.
Okay.
When I get people who try to ask about someone else, I always try to redirect it like, hey, is it okay if we ask about what you can do in this situation, or how you can support them, or how you can... So if you can make it thing we are encouraged not to do in most relationships, and make it about you. When you sit down with a tarot reader, you want insight into you. So whatever direction you can take in that situation, regarding the situation you're asking about, to make it about you is helpful. So, did that sound good?
Yeah. No, yeah. I have anxiety around setting boundaries, and I'm looking for insight to that.
All right. Okay. Cool.
So we've cut the deck.
So
this is the Thoth deck.
The Thoth deck. So I always like to shuffle first, and when I'm shuffling, I'm taking a minute for myself. I'm recentering, especially if I'm doing an evening of readings. Taking a moment to get back in touch with my gods, recenter on that, and focus on the querence question, and so do that for a sec here. I'm sorry for any mic weirdness.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
Is there a certain number of times that you shuffle, or just kind of how you feel?
Yeah, I am not
Do you feel it's
very
done?
dogmatic about this. Okay, so now I'm going to have Matricula shuffle. Okay. You do not have to do it all fancy like I did. I tell people
Those are
this
much bigger than
they will sometimes apologize for, I can't shuffle very well. Yeah, just
picked up the...
do whatever, change the order, move them around, whatever feels good to you, until it feels right. Okay.
Give it 2 shuffles.
All right.
And a break.
And would you cut the deck into 2 pieces for me? And pick one half or the other.
All right. On top? Or just let you handle it?
Yeah.
I'll let you drive.
All right. So the spread that I'm going to be using... Yep. Yeah, I click.
I'm not as familiar with this one, so I thought this would be a good one to demo, so I don't try to jump in too much, but get something different out of it, because I'm used to the other one, so this will be a different... I'm looking for insights in different ways, right?
So the spread I'm going to use is the... it's one I really like. It's the What the Actual Fuck spread from Interrobang Tarot.
This is probably really helpful to me because I swear a lot and I identify with that.
It's also kind of concise, and it gives you a lot of different perspectives in a fairly compact spread, so I like it a lot.
Okay.
So
the What the Fuck spread. What the actual fuck. What the actual fuck spread.
So this is you.
Okay.
In the situation, so you in the middle of your anxiety
and
overwhelm.
No boundaries and...
This is the thing that's staring you most in the face about it, the most urgent aspect of it.
Like a crucial linchpin kind of thing.
Yeah. This is what's true about this issue.
Okay.
I also think of this as the what you can trust card, or what you can rely on. This is the what's false or maybe tripping you up.
Okay.
What's not doing you any services.
The bugaboo card.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. This is where you could use more information. It's your research card. Okay. Maybe external or internal. Okay. And this is your next steps card. Your moving forward card. So as you can see, this covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
In a relatively concrete way for tarot.
It's what, 6 cards drawn? Okay.
Yeah. I use this one a lot when I'm reading out places. If I'm doing private one-on-one readings, I will often use less structured spreads because there's not as much of a time constraint. And even with this, like, my 10-minute readings are usually 15 or 20. My 20-minute readings...
You're such a bad business person.
I'm terrible. I am awful at this. At the keeping to my time. Boundaries.
I know, that's good. We'll both get something out of this.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it all over just so I can get the larger picture, and then we'll go through it slowly.
Okay, great. All right, so and just for my edification, is it okay if I... So this card is me.
Yep.
And this is the urgent, the most, like, the in-my-face issue.
Yeah.
This is something I can trust. This is something that may be tripping me up. This is... this is something... This is something tripping me up, and I don't remember these last two.
This is, and we'll go through this all as we go talk through the cards, but this is your research card, where you need more information, and this is your moving forward card. Okay. So, the Interrobang Tarot person, I don't actually remember their gender or their pronouns.
Person. The
Interrobang person.
Yes.
Interrobang Tarot person breaks it down as what the actual fuck ? Exclamation point. Which is a really great mnemonic for me.
Yeah. That's really
smart. I just love it so much.
What the actual fuck Interrobang.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so talking through this.
Okay.
Right. Couple of things right off. These 3 guys here are all Major Arcana cards. I would like to point out to you that half of your reading is Major Arcana cards. And just to recap, the Major Arcanas are the ones with the... Exactly. Are the ones with the interesting names. Like Death and the Devil and the Fool and... and they're about big archetypal forces,
concept-y things.
Yeah. Things that are bigger than we are, things that are really weighty, things that we participate in but that are larger. And this is there are only 22 of these in the deck, and you have 3 of them here.
I shuffle so good.
So 1, yes, it's true. This is a big deal.
Okay.
This is a big
This is
deal.
reassuring, too.
Yes.
It's like, all right.
Big deal
Rest
for you.
assured.
Rest assured.
Rest assured, I'm having a legitimate problem.
Yes, you can trust that. So the U card, this is the 9 of discs. And there's a keyword on all of these. I don't know if you can see it. It's gain.
Mm-hmm.
And the 9 of discs, in other decks, to me, it's always associated with cultivation.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's pentacles and other decks sometimes.
Pentacles or coins.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it talks about the material things, the logistics, right? The physical stuff. And so here, what this says to me in this position is that you're surrounded by things that you have cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
You're surrounded by communities and events, and anyone who knows Matricula knows that this is Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I definitely volunteer myself out, but I'm also like, there's no way to say this and not sound full of myself, but I'm reasonably competent at a wide variety of things. So it is something. Thank you, but it is something that I often get called in for favors, which I like the idea of doing, but I'm very involved in lots of communities that either I've joined or have literally cultivated myself.
Yes.
Like we talked earlier an hour ago about like the book club I run for the last 5 years. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some decks, this shows a garden bearing fruit, right? It's cultivated, it's curated, and so thank you, probability, that I will answer your question after
I'm
the
excited
reading,
for Q&A.
So yeah, you're in the middle of this vast garden that you have cultivated, you've raised, you've taken care of.
You know, I am a horticulture major as well.
Right.
Okay, so there's a lot.
And you love it a lot.
And this was the urgency,
Mm-hmm.
the thing in my face.
Right.
Okay.
This is the Princess of Cups.
Does that have dragons and stuff on it?
It has a swan and a turtle and a fish.
For this one,
It's
I'm
watery.
really
It's very
curious
watery.
about. I'm really interested in this art, so I'm going to actually have you hold it up again. I'm sorry to slow down the reading, but I can bring this in a little bit more focus so people can see So it's a swan and fish
And a turtle.
Is that a mermaid or is
fish.
she a serpent? What's the figure? Is that like these things? What is this, current or?
I don't know. I just kind of assume
I'm
that
just curious.
they're swirly current things.
Mm-hmm.
And the princess, of course, right in the middle of it all, kind of with a swan crown. Because who doesn't want a swan crown?
I don't know anyone.
Right. I've always wanted a
As soon
swan
as I
crown.
saw that Bjork dress, I was like, that's the only thing for me.
So
pull it back down.
So the Princess of Cups, it's very pretty, and you know, cups are all about our emotions, right? Yeah, and the Princess of Cups is about often it's about curiosity, about reaching out and finding the things you care about. But here, to me, this talks about feeling, again, kind of Captain Obvious, but feeling the desire, but also not feeling capable of doing as much as you want.
The number of directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all the shinies.
I mean, and that's why
the things that matter to you.
Yeah, that's why I get myself into trouble, because I'm
Right.
just like, oh, I can do that, or I love doing that. I love doing that too. I love doing that.
I love
Yes.
doing that, so I'm going to spend energy on it. I love doing that, so I'm going to
Yes,
spend
I would
energy
love
on
to
it.
loan you lots
I'm
of equipment.
curious about how that would work,
Uh-huh.
so I'm going to spend energy on it.
Oh. That's me. Like, Joy, I need you to be my guinea pig. I'm going to set all this stuff up. Come over.
Which I appreciate.
No, I like it, obviously.
But
like
you know, this took energy for you too,
yeah.
and
Though this
I'm
does
benefiting, and I am so
clearly
happy about it.
benefit me. This is generating hashtag content from
Yes.
my hashtag street. Oh, they are like tentacles.
Yes.
Also
clearly.
very Matricula.
Yeah.
To be fair. Okay, so that's a thing in my like my in the face stressor.
The feels around it, essentially, both the love of it and the what if I can't? What if I don't have enough? I don't have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the feels.
Okay, the feels.
And then this is the what's true,
the thing I
or
can
what
trust.
You can trust card. This is the Two of Wands, and its keyword is dominion. I like to say that, well, and other people say too, this is not something new for me, that all the twos are about balance in one way or another. And because wands are about will and strength of get-it-doneness, the Two of Wands is about the balance of control, the balance that's enforced by will. So what's true about this is that you do have the resources and the ability to create a more stable, balanced place for yourself.
It's so hard, Joy.
And what's also true is that it's going to take that kind of effort.
Okay.
Concerted effort and control. This isn't about something that comes easily or naturally. It's not about something that flows. It's about something deliberate. Right. About putting your staff down and saying, this far, no further.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
It's so hard.
I shall
I'm
not
already
do.
like anxious about like having to say no. No, it's fine. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
So
okay. But this is the thing I can trust, and the trust is in myself that I have this ability. That I kind of know what I need to do. I'm just
well, and so sometimes I will do the thing where saying no is really hard. It's really hard. And when I'm trying to do a hard thing, whatever it is, sometimes I'll get to the point where I'm like, well, if it's not working now, clearly I'm just doing something wrong and it should be easier and it's not ever going to work. So part of what this is saying to me is don't be discouraged in this if your small movements don't do it. You can trust that it's gonna take effort.
Just keep on.
It's gonna take effort. It's probably gonna take bigger steps than you're comfortable with.
Doing, okay.
And sometimes knowing that at least can help me not feel like I'm failing. Because, oh no, it's just that I know I have to be pushing harder to get this done. Or to make this happen. Yeah.
And I think something, and stop me if I'm interrupting too much. I didn't know if you prefer to do the thing where you just go through everything. I'm very talky, so I know. Well, one thing I'm wondering, it's I spend so much energy trying to make all this stuff happen because I'm pulled in so many directions, and I'm just out of spoons by the time it comes to self-care,
No willpower. Willpower is a finite resource. I mean,
and I picked the will deck. I picked the will deck.
You did. You did.
Will deck.
And this is not a particularly soft-toned deck. It doesn't pull punches. But yeah, willpower is a finite resource, and conserving that is important.
I'll drink to that
for you. Yeah. So the what's tripping you up here, or getting in your way, or not serving you. This is the Fool.
Okay, so this is the stuff in my way.
Yeah. And this is your one reversed card in the deck. And I read reverses, but I don't read them as
the opposite.
As the opposite. Or I tend to see them as the force of the card blocked or frustrated. Which is, I don't know, it usually makes more sense to me. So
it's
in the bugaboo.
The bugaboo, this is the thing that's like kind of blocking me in some ways. Okay.
Yeah. And this is part of where the multiple narratives aspect of tarot is a blessing and a curse. Because I want to read this as okay. I think it's talking about so the Fool's about playfulness and diving in, right? Jumping off the cliff without looking, initiating new
I
things.
can do this.
Right.
Researches for 2 weeks how to do things.
Right.
Okay.
So your relationship to that impulse, I think isn't doing you any favors. Because it feels like it's miscalibrated.
Okay.
Is what it feels like. Like, you know the phrase, fuck yes or no? Like either...
I'm sorry, I just looked at you so blankly. I was like, I feel like I know kind of, but I don't know.
So this idea that the only things you'll say yes to are...
the things that you feel strongly about. Okay.
If it's not a fuck yes, it's a no.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that sense is miscalibrated for you.
I have too many fuck yeses.
Or your bar for where fuck yes is.
Is maybe, yeah, and the thing I think, talking about impulses, it's like I am definitely a instant gratification kind of person. And I really, really love that feeling of, yes, I can help you. And being appreciated and acknowledged for that. So I think maybe you're talking about, like, that makes a lot of sense to me about the idea that my bar is miscalibrated. Like, maybe my fuck yes bar, like, I'm... not that I'm trying to think, like, I could set it a little higher and still probably get as much gratification out of it as I'm getting now not want to, like, just die.
Right. And...
Not that I want to, like, harm myself or anything, I just want to be really clear about that, but you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah. So inquiring a little bit, which you're already doing right now here, but maybe in the coming days, inquiring a little bit about what your narratives around that are, what your
enthusiastic consent,
precisely.
Yes.
Thank you,
fuck yes, enthusiastic. Yeah.
What your narratives around that are, and thinking about how raising that bar is taking care of yourself.
Okay.
And
there's a little bit of, like, not self-denial, but, like, delayed gratification requisite with that too. Like, my impulse is so strong to just be like, okay.
Right.
You know?
And it feels good to do that because helper.
Yeah.
I'm the helper. I'm doing the thing. Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Okay.
I get that.
Yeah. Joy, come over and do this for me.
This is not easy. Yeah. This is not easy work. Let me be clear. So your research card. Your research card is the Wheel of Fortune, which, objectively is about all the things that we can't predict and we can't control, and it is the, spin it and see where it ends up. So to me, we're just talking about impulse control. We're just talking about
my bugaboo, impulse
miscalibrated.
control.
And you can't say what situations are going to come up. You can't predict. I mean, to some extent you can, and that's fine. Isn't it percussive? It's great.
We can actually, if you have a second, I can zoom in on this a little bit, just because it seems like people are interested. So I pulled that down when it was. We had a slight camera glitch, but it seems to have corrected itself now. So yeah. So here's that Wheel of Fortune card. So is it a Sphinx on the top, and then? Yeah. But it looks like he doesn't look like the figure at the bottom doesn't look like he's falling off. I mean, it looks like he's still wrapped around it. And same thing with the monkey.
Yeah.
So it's not like
it's not
going to be bad
because we don't fall off the wheel of karma or the wheel of rebirth or Hi Crowley getting your Eastern religion in here.
Okay.
Right? Oh, the stars. It's full of stars. You don't fall off. You just kind of get ground under it sometimes.
You're just on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's, that Firefly bit, the wheel keeps on turning. That only matters to the people on the rim.
Yeah. Damn nerdy stuff. Hashtag Folk Tarot.
Yes. So,
bring it back down.
So, the important thing for you to be thinking about,
This was my research card, or introspection, external or internal research card.
So the important thing for you to be doing, I think largely internal work on, is thinking about how you'll handle potential situations. Not trying to account for anything you might be asked, but maybe rehearsing soft no's.
We did roleplay with me in the Discord the other day. They helped me say no to this.
See, you're already working on it. So, rehearsing soft no's or doing some writing about, okay, what does my higher bar look like? What are the things that characterize a fuck yes for me? What are the things that are absolute deal breakers? What kinds of things?
Would be that where that line specifically is.
Yeah, so doing some kind of mental preparation and mental exercises. Building your willpower muscles so that they're there for you.
Oh, it is a muscle.
It is. So building it up so that it's there for you when you need it. And feeling,
and it's not just, but feeling comfortable when I have to do it. Like when I have to say, I don't know. Like, I never take it personally when people say no to me, and yet I feel like it's personal if I have to say no to someone else.
Right.
And it's like making yourself not just comfortable saying no, but part of that is like being like, it's going to be okay. And it's probably not even that big a deal, know, or it's like I can... Yeah, like not just strategies for how to say no, but like trying to convince myself that I can be okay with it.
Yeah.
And that's the work of it, right?
Right. So. And that's where the writing out your standards comes in, because you can't predict what's going to come, but you can think about what the things that come might look like, and what characteristics would lead you to say yes or no. Moving forward.
Okay. So this was the exclamation point of the actual fuck in Terabang.
Yes.
And this was
These are the next steps.
Next steps, okay.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird sex card.
No.
Okay.
This is the tower.
Okay. So I'm gonna zoom in on this for us a little bit, so we can appreciate the art here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So this is the tower. Okay. It's so my impression is just looking at it. It seems like a very fiery, violent card.
Yes.
I see teeth.
Yes.
Toppling.
Okay. Kicking it from the bottom.
Okay.
Which to me says, yeah, the tower. So to me, this says that going forward, some of the things that you need to say no to, or that would be useful for you to say no to after you do some of this thinking and work, may feel like a really big loss. May feel like destruction.
Like I'm ruining my helpful reputation. Even though I'm probably not actually going to do that ever. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, without any context, the tower is about knocking things down to rebuild.
Okay.
And it's more, we were chatting in the Discord a little bit this afternoon about death and how the death card isn't what everyone thinks it's about.
It's not doom necessarily.
Right, it's cycles. It's death and rebirth.
It's like, didn't you people watch The Last Jedi?
It's the organic processes and transformation. The tower is blunter and more violent than that. Not necessarily a natural progression.
It's a more determined,
yeah.
Like not just a fuck yes, but a fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no. I don't have to say that out loud.
No.
I can say that in my head, but be like, I'm so sorry. I'm just not able to help you.
Right.
But in my head, I can be like, nope.
Yeah. Or to some extent, this feels like maybe a defined period of
reset, kind of.
Yeah.
Destroy, rebuild.
Yeah. Of I can't commit to anything I can't commit to anything for the next.
Give myself a clean slate.
Yeah.
And that might help me actually as the next step too. It might help me recalibrate if I complete all of my current obligations and then just be like, I can't do anything else. I can't help you. It's not you. And then I have sort of not an excuse, but to say it's not just you. I'm not doing anything. I'm taking a break for a period.
For a month, for 3 months,
And I don't have to even say why. It's people should, especially because it's not one of the things I have trouble with is you did this thing, so it seems like you would be available to do this thing.
Right.
And that's not always true. Same thing with getting, I'm at the point where I'm getting more consistently paid for music work I do.
Right.
But there are some times that I'm still willing to volunteer.
Right.
And some of that is I'm getting some other benefit from it, but to the outside it seems like, well, you did this for a discount, why don't you do this for? And so it's hard to enforce that.
Yeah.
But also with just my time, especially as I get more, I'm getting more invested in DIY sound engineering, so now it's all of a sudden people are oh, call Matricula, she knows how to do, and it's one, I don't, but I'm flattered, and two, it's okay. And it's no.
You only have so much to give. You only have so much to give.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so yes, I think that defining a period of time where it's just no to everything is a good idea.
Yeah.
Hit the reset button. Give yourself some time to do this work.
Yeah, and to get comfortable with and then also I could probably see this is great. I have time. What is this?
Right?
What is this madness?
Right. I wonder how many songs would come out of that.
Yeah, that's true too. So, as a person preferring, the drug out maybe, and there's a difference too between the drug out maybe and the non-committing, and then committing, and then driving myself crazy trying to execute the thing I committed, and I do execute it. It's very, very rare that I don't complete the thing, but that's at this great personal cost to myself,
right?
And my relationships with my house and my husband, stuff like that. So
yeah, which are important things.
Yeah, also important things of me and my life, right?
Yeah.
So
one of the other things I always offer people when I do a reading for them, that's funny, percussive. Drug out maybe is a drug heist. Ooh. No, so when I do readings for people, at the end I always offer them the chance to take notes or take a photo.
I have a video.
Yeah, so Matricula has a video for reference. But I always offer that.
Yeah.
Because I know I like write-ups of my write-ups of my own reading.
Or like the picture of it so you can kind of like...
remind myself what was going on. So, how are we feeling?
It makes a lot of sense to me. And like I said, I got a lot out of that in the sense that, like I wasn't expecting to get, like, concrete strategy stuff. Because, like, I know in my head it's, like, just say no to things. But it's, like, reset button idea is something that resonates a lot with me that I hadn't thought as much about.
Good.
So, like, those kinds of things I find really helpful.
Yay!
So.
Okay.
Also, this was cool to, like, have something that I'm not as familiar with this particular deck. So that was also cool to, like, see some new art and kind of get your take on it without trying to, like, think about what I know, because I don't know much, but I know enough to, like, think about it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So. Can I take this up and ask probabilities? Let probability ask
your
question?
What kind of questions do you have? Do you need any more water or anything?
Oh man.